welcome new talent up on stage. It's fantastic. If you would like to do comedy, if you've seen the comedians and myself tonight, go, I'm going to do better than that. Come and see us. Amy Winehouse wishes she could still perform. You can. Come and see it. But one of our first timers tonight is about to come up on stage. So please make as much noise as you can for Dylan!
How's it going, everyone? It's a much more intimate crowd tonight than it was last night. It was a bit daunting. I don't think I've ever had this chance to be as intimate with this many people at one time before. Sober. I haven't drunk any beer tonight because I was really worried I'd get nervous and come up here and stuff it up. Filled up on diuretics instead. Hindsight's 2020. So I know what you're thinking. When did Guy Sebastian and Jack Black find the time to have a love child? These things happen, no one likes to talk about them, but they do. So, local talent night. I thought it was happening at the Gold Bar. I love Kalgoorlie. I spent some time in London a couple of years back, some time, about £6 billion and most of my dignity. And then I moved pretty much straight to here. A few subtle differences. For example, like in London, they say, you're right, as in, how are you, how's it going? Here it's a bit more guttural, it's more like, you're all right, and it tends to happen straight after you've been dancing with someone else's missus. So London, lots of Aussies in London. I think I met more Australians in London than I did in Australia. It's a bit like being a Kiwi on a KCGM line. I got told before I would head over, like guys said to me, oh mate, they love the accent over there, they love it, the ladies look after it, love the accent. I found myself signing up to girls in nightclubs. How's it going? My name's Dylan, from Perth, Australia. Oh, I'm from Adelaide. It's become this thing to do, Australians heading overseas to go and see the world and then get really drunk and forget they saw it. I love talking to Australians about their travel. Oh mate, you've got to go to Ireland, it's amazing. I lost a kidney. I think the problem with Australians being so consistently drunk overseas is that we forget that we're actually only fun when we are drunk. The rest of the time we're pretty much atrocious. And it's not that we behave any differently to how we do here, it's just that we don't have the support network that makes it okay. It's a bit like being a kid in a cult who finds out for the first time that not everyone has the same definition of family values. You mean you and your sister don't... I was in a souvenir shop in Florence, in Italy. Look, my fault for being in a souvenir shop. But I heard this voice call out, "Hey Narelle, they've got tea towels over here!" And I just thought, oh God, that's what we sound like to the rest of the world. And you can either really embrace that and go with it and oi, 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 and it's a great thing, or you can try and move away from it and dissociate yourself from it. I spent 4 hours hiding amongst the Michelangelo's David boxer shorts. Yeah, so I think you see look, someone laughed to put me off. I think we see the Australian spirit at its rawest on Australia Day. There's always that one guy drunk, stumbling, trying to pick a fight with everything he sees. What you looking at, mate? What you looking at? What you looking at? Oh, Steve, that's a tree, mate. Huh? Oh, Jesus, sorry, mate. Shake my hand. Shake my hand! Steve. Yeah, you'll keep. Trying to find his one blue esky amongst the 7,000 identical blue eskies. Thought I'd avoid that guy completely last year. Turns out it was me, awkward. On a side note, if eskies ever start committing crime, we'd be screwed. There is no way you can pick an esky out of a police lineup. Reports of esky crime on the news. Police say the suspect was blue, approximately 50 litres, and had a sturdy build. It's just you, man. It's just you. Police attempted to arrest the suspect for drug possession, but he really lost his cool when they took away his ice. A police officer at the scene said he wasn't surprised when he flicked his lip. It tends to happen once they're full of drinks. Some people think puns aren't funny, you know who you are. Yeah, so Australia Day, I love Australia Day, I really do. God knows what it's for, but free barbecue, right? Look, there's this idea that started creeping in though, this misguided patriotism disguised as casual racism, you know? I much prefer casual racism to formal racism that means I don't have to wear a tie. They actually did a study this year, did you guys see this? That if you've got an Australian flag on your car on Australia Day, you're more likely to possess racist views than the general population. Those guys are going to be so pissed off when they find out the flags are made in China. What really entertained me about that though was all the people who got really passionate about the debate and jumped online and made really well thought out comments about it. So I brought some along. I've written them down because these guys obviously spent a really long time on their spelling and punctuation. And our Campbell of Melbourne. Funny, I don't fly flags from my car, but I agreed with all the answers the flag carriers agreed to. Congratulations, Al! You found your people! It's the feel-good story of the year. This one, Matthew of Sydney. I would suspect the Middle Eastern people who go around breaking the flags every Australia Day would be more racist. Then the flag carriers, yes. The new Matthew of Sydney, not so much. This one's from Max of Sydney. Non-European migration has turned out splendidly. Just look at Western Sydney, no gun crime to speak of there. I think people might be more racist in Sydney because they don't have homophobia to fall back on. Very confusing, if you and this one's my favourite. This one's Andy of Melbourne. Well, if it's racist to think that people should adopt the Australian culture when living in Australia, I must be racist. Well spotted. I've got no problem at all with asking new Australians to adopt the Australian culture. I just really wish we had some to offer them. I love that on Australia Day, it's the only day of the year that you can wear the Australian flag as a cape. It's the second most disrespectful thing you can do to the Australian flag at any other time. For example, Ian Thorpe wins Olympic gold on behalf of the nation. The flag touches the ground. National outcry. Random mulleted bogan wears flag as cape while singing AC/DC at the top of his lungs and finding new and creative ways to expose his genitals. National icon. It's the easiest way to spot a racist in the crowd though, isn't it? The flag over the shoulders, like some kind of colonial superhero. Do-do-do-do! Supremacist man! Able to generalise faster than a speeding bullet. Can clear an entire subculture in a single riot. Supremacist man, that convenience store is on fire. My work here is done. You come across that sentiment, you know, they come here, take our jobs, come here, take our jobs, come here, take our jobs. I just think, exactly which job that you wanted are these people taking? Because there is no queue to jump to clean the Macca's toilets at midnight. I think the real problem here is one of assimilation, you know. If they're real Australians, they claim the doll, right? Billy, I filled out 47 job applications today. Oh, huzzah. Now you're going to have to find 47 ways to stuff up an interview. Where are you going to find the time to smoke weed and surf? I ran into one of these guys a couple of years ago and he sort of started sprouting all this anti-asylum seeker sentiment and I really took him to task, you know. He was all like, well, my family come here on the First Fleet. And I was like, oh, so your ancestors are boat people. And we really did get along. And this guy got really angry and upset. And he ended up like blasting me in front of everyone leaving. And I would have felt really, really bad for him, except that he finished his rant thus. And there is not one single thing that you can tell me foreign culture has brought into this country that is worth having, alright? Come on, Davo. Let's go get a kebab. Thank you very much.